go. It's game day, baby. The moment everybody's been waiting on here in South Louisiana. See what our 2023 Tigers are going to look like. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a long wait to get to that game time. Should make for a great game down in Orlando. I'm here with my co-host right now, Madden, Todd McClure.
What's up?
What's up, babe? We're going to talk a little bit about this game, this big game. I think it's a game. Well, I know it's a game that's going to impact the playoff race at the end. You know, this is the number 5 team in the country in the SEC versus the number 8 team in the country in the ACC, and the winner and the loser of this game, it's going to affect what they look like at the end of this season. You excited to talk a little bit about this game?
Yeah.
All right, what you got for me? Let's get rolling, man.
So obviously both quarterbacks are very good. So how do you think the matchup is going to be between Daniels and Travis?
You know, I think when you look back at the end of this game, you're going to look at both of these quarterbacks, and I think the quarterback that turned the ball over the least, his team's going to have the victory here. Both of these guys have playmakers. Travis has Wilson outside that's explosive. You look at LSU, you know, we know a little bit more about them. You got Neighbors. You also got Taylor, you know, who I think is going to be big in this game. And you got other playmakers that you don't know who's going to step up. So it's going to be fun to watch. And I think when we look back, whatever quarterback turns the ball over the least, his team will be victorious. Before we get going anymore, I want to make sure y'all go subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Snap Back with T-Mac. We're going to go live at halftime on Facebook, Snap Back with T-Mac, and we're going to try to get it hooked in with YouTube. So go subscribe to our channel. All right, Big Boss, what you got next?
Well, obviously the offensive and defensive line are going to be a big part in this game. So what's your opinion on that?
You know, you look at it, and both teams have guys that can affect the game in a positive way. Verse is a defensive end for Florida State that can change a game. He's a game wrecker. I know when I played, we got the scouting report, and you looked at guys, and they had under the guys that could affect the game wrecker. Verse would have been a game wrecker, and I'm sure he is today. So LSU has to account for Verse in our passing game and our running game. You know, guys that like to rush the passer. Verse had 9 sacks last year. What we used to try to do is you want to take his mind off of rushing the passer. And the way you do that is you run the football right at him. You make him exert some energy trying to stop the run. You might even have some tight ends, some backs come across and slice his knees to make him think about other things that he has to do than line it up on third down and rush the passer. Then you look on the other side of the ball. I think Wingo, wearing the number 18 for the Tigers, he has to have a game. We're missing the big guy up front, Mason Smith, this week. Wingo has to be good, setting that line of scrimmage for the Tigers to have success, and then we got to let Harold Perkins eat.
Yeah, of course, Daniels and Neighbors are going to be a big part of this offense, but what do you think are going to be some other key players?
You know, the biggest one I think about, and when we get down to the red zone, we always talk about our wide receivers and guys that can make plays far down the field. Not saying that this guy can't do it, but Mason Taylor is going to be big for the Tigers. And I think he's going to be the X factor for the Tigers offense this week. When we move the ball, hopefully we'll get our running game going. When we get down in the red zone, Mason Taylor has to put some stress on that secondary from Florida State. And if he does, if they have to take a safety and put him over Taylor to help out on him, then that's going to free some guys up on the outside. So I think that matchup of Mason Taylor versus those linebackers and safeties for Florida State is huge.
What about on the other side of the ball with the defense?
You talking about Florida State's defense or our defense? You know, we talk about it every year with LSU. You got guys that you know are going to make an impact on our season. Last year going into the season, Harold Perkins didn't play a ton early. Go into the Ole Miss, you think about that game Lane Kiffin said when number 40 was on the field, that's a different defense. Well, guess what? He's out there full time to start this season. He's going to affect this game. He's got to create some turnovers. You know, he's another guy, but I guarantee you Florida State, when they looked at their game plan and everything, he was a game wrecker. He was the top guy on the list for this defense. So he's got to go affect the game. But I'm also looking to see who else is going to show up in this for this Tiger team that we're not necessarily counting on. Every year it happens. You look when Devin White went to the NFL, and then his backup came in, and the following year made a bunch of plays for us on Patrick Queen on defense. He stepped up. Somebody's going to step up, whether it's offensively or defensively. But another one, you talk about Perkins, Brooks has to have a big game in the back end. Florida State's going to try to stretch this field early with their playmakers on the edge, and I think Brooks needs to go get him a pick early in this game.
Well, we obviously have a bunch of big players on defense, but who do you think stands out the most?
On our defense?
On both defenses.
On both defenses, I think that's pretty obvious. We talked about Harold Perkins. And what I'm looking forward to is Coach House. This offensive line for Florida State has a lot of games under their belt. So Coach House may have to disguise some things defensively to get Harold Perkins in the right situations with some one-on-one matchups. And then, they're going to have their eyes and their focus on Perkins. We need some other guys to win their one-on-one matchups up front on that D line, and then that's going to help get Perkins free. So we need some other guys to step up. And like I talked about earlier, Verse on that D line for Florida State, he can be a game wrecker. We need to make sure we know where he's at all times.
So who in our offense do you think has to perform at a top level for us to be able to win this game?
Jaden Daniels, obviously. We got to get our running game going, but Jaden Daniels is a guy that last year going into the Florida State game, and I'm guilty of it. After that game, I was like, man, is he ever going to throw the ball? I remember last year, I think I was calling, texting my brothers, saying I want to see Nussmeier. At least Nussmeier was going to let it loose, and then Jaden got more comfortable. As the season went along, he's got a full year under his belt. He's going to go into this game with a lot of confidence. The play callers for LSU and his teammates have confidence in Jaden Daniels. So I think he has to have a great game, and I think he will have a great game, and the Tigers are going to be successful.
Jaden Daniels for Heisman.
For Heisman, there you go. Put it out there. We had two the other day. I know we watched that game with Travis Hunter and Shadir Sanders. So you throwing Jaden Daniels' name in the hat.
I'm throwing Jaden Daniels in there.
There you go.
So what are some in-game adjustments that you think we're going to have to make?
And I think, you talk about that, the biggest thing, adjustments. Going into the first game of season, as the season goes along, teams, they have tendencies that are created. Going into this first game, you can look back at Florida State last year, what they did on offense, and have a general idea of what it's going to look like. But they're going to have some wrinkles in their game plan. Same thing with LSU. Florida State can look at us offensively and know kind of what we did last year, all right? So the biggest thing, they're going to have something new. It may be a new blitz that Florida State throws at us. It may be a new motion, a new formation they throw at us offensively. We got to be able to make those adjustments on the sideline. And whenever we go in at halftime, make the adjustments because there's going to be a wrinkle. And I think whatever team, whatever coaching staff makes those in-game adjustments is going to help his team win this football game.
What's your prediction, final score?
Final score for this one, man, it's going to be a great game. I'm really looking forward to it. We're going to my daughter's in town, requested some sausage po' boys on the grill, so we're going to put them po' boys on the grill, and we're going to watch this football game. We're going to come back to you at halftime, talk about it. My final prediction for this game, LSU Tigers 31, Florida State Seminoles 27.
Hold on, somebody's calling me.
Bro, we live. Bro, we live. Oh! Yeah!